Shalom. When it started off souls, but giving no praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash, the blessed apostle, great Most High, and honors you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's real name, of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh, and the Son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, but Hashem Yahushua, but meaning in, Ha meaning then, Shai meaning name, so Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. It's a quick one. I'm inspired by this thing that I came across. Immediately when I came across it, I thought of the precept, and in Revelation it speaks about the bottomless pit, right? It says natural resource valued by country: Russia, USA, Saudi Arabia, Canada, Iran, China, Brazil, Australia, Iraq, and Venezuela. And another thing as well that I found quite interesting about this particular image here that you see is the fact that the majority of these are Russian allies. Well, obviously, you've got the BRICS nation: Brazil, Russia, India, which India is 11th on when I looked at the same value on Statista, right? India is 11th, right? China, you see, there's in position 6, right? And then we know that Saudi Arabia will look to join. We know that Russia and Iran, you read Ezekiel the 38th chapter, it speaks Ezekiel the 38th chapter speaks about, be a guard unto them, right? One of the nations named is Persia, which is Iran, and then Iraq. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, don't remember if they have any kind of outward dealings with Russia, right? I believe also that Venezuela have some dealings there as well. So I said I just found that very interesting, because especially in a world where it's all about the resources, the fact that Russia has Russia's allies mostly as well, right? Are they're basically the biggest producer of natural resources. You can kind of see how this war is going to end up happening, man. All right, so let's get some precept. Right, so this is Revelation 9 from the top, right? It says, I'm just gonna, jump, read the main thing, right? So Revelation 9:1 says, the fifth angel sounded, and I saw his star fall from heaven, right, unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit, right? This is referred to as the bottomless pit because Europe, right, there's a lack of natural resources in Europe, okay? And then, so let me just get back that image again real quick, right? And if you see, none of these nations here are European nations, right? No European nations. And like I did kind of try and look and find like a full comprehensive list to see when, Europe came up on this list, right? Just couldn't find any links. Google one show me anything at least, right? So it's really the fifth angel is the first of the last three woes, right? The bottomless pit is Europe because there's a lack of natural resources there. The beast originated Roman Empire. Now NATO, the EU, and the USA, the new Roman Empire, came out of Europe, further proving that the bottomless pit is referring to Europe. Okay, and then also because there was that whole thing about that protection, right? That umbrella that Russia is going to give these different nations. Once again, you see these top producers, the large majority of them, right? Question mark on Iraq, and question mark on Venezuela as well. But I do believe Venezuela has dealings with Russia, right? But that out and out, that leaves Canada, Australia, and the United States here in this list, right? So what you call it, as carrying as Ezekiel 38, it says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, and Tubal, and prophesy against him, right? Because they're Edomites. This is the thing. It's like, which I was guilty of this when I first, when the Lord first brought me into this truth, where I was like, yeah, Russia, this, that, and the other, but it's like, nah, they're Edomites too, right? They just a means to an end. But it's like, yeah, the Lord is going to use them, right, to use them and a host, right, of different other armies to destroy the land of our captivity, to destroy the land wherein was shed so much Israelite blood. And say, thus saith the Lord, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I'll turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. right? So basically, you turn them back into that Cold War mentality. It says, I'll bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, right, Iran, which you saw there, Ethiopia, Libya, it says, and Libya with them, right? All of them with shield and helmet. Goma and all of his bands, Turkey, which we know we didn't see that on that list either, right? The House of Togomar, the North Quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee, right? Because once again, these different nations, this lot and more, right? Russia's allies that you see, and I mentioned there was a couple that weren't, that weren't listed in, that Ezekiel 38. Sorry, it listed in this list that are listed in Ezekiel 38. But we know ultimately that all these different nations are basically gonna come together. Country, right? Because the Lord is going to put the spirit right in these Russians, and ultimately even America's allies to shoot missiles at her, right? This is Jeremiah 50 and 9. It says, for lo, I'll raise on cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, right? And that north country, they're referring to Russia. And that assembly is all the nations that are going to be joined with Russia, right? The alliances, because that's also what you're seeing happening right now. When you're hearing Saudi Arabia talking about they want to join the BRICS nations, they're talking about creating alliances, right? It says, and they shall set themselves in array against her, right? From thence she shall be taken, right? Their arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. That's talking about those nuclear missiles, right? So, Russia and her allies, right? And then ultimately all of America's allies, even eventually, are going to be used to, to shoot and destroy America, right? But this was all inspired, by just seeing this list, and obviously the precept speaks about Europe being a bottomless pit. Yeah, I don't know about you. I don't see no European countries here, right? So yeah, like I said, just a quick one. Until the next time, we say shalom.